So, hello everyone, and welcome to Magic Month of May. I just want to. Doesn't seem like. I just want to ask those of you listening live if you can hear and see. If you can let me know that the technology is working correctly, that would be wonderful. So please use the chat box and let me know that you can hear and see. I'm going to type into the chat box just to double check. Hi Helen, great Carmen that you can hear and see, that's wonderful. And lovely to see people I know and do not know. And welcome to Magic Month of May. For those of you that do not know me, my name is Karila and I am from the Starlight Temple. And Magic Month is a webinar that gives you an energetic forecast for the month ahead. So it gives you an insight into what's going on in nature, what spirit is saying, and what is going on in the skies astrologically, so that you can use that information to align with what is going on in nature and the skies, and use it for your own healing, your own evolution, your own manifesting, and basically make sure that you have the best, most magical month you possibly can. And obviously we are living in an absolutely crazy and wonderful and challenging time in human evolution. And so I would like to begin by just asking, how are you all doing in lockdown? How's everyone feeling? How's everyone coping? I really like my webinars to be co-creative, so please at any point share your insights, share your wisdom, express yourselves, and let's co-create this Magic Month forecast together. So let me know how you're doing. I'm really excited about the forecast for May. It feels really, really epic and really, really important, and I can't wait to share it with you all. My guides are also going to be giving all sorts of little extras to help you with this time of great ascension that we are living. And so you're restless and frustrated, yeah, it is getting to that kind of point now where the novelty of lockdown has worn off. I'm feeling you. And I'm sorry you're feeling angry. I'm sorry, I am in lockdown too, and the dogs like to chase the foxes in the garden. So there might be some dogs going off in this webinar. And a lot of people have been finding it hard to sleep. I actually think that's to do with the ascension energies coming in. Often when there's a lot of ascension energies coming in, they can wire your system and keep you awake at night. One of the things that my guides have said about those kind of ascension non-sleep nights is, I'm glad the dogs made you laugh, Helen. One of the things my guides have said is when you are wired like that by the energies coming in, it's because you're being filled up with energy, and so you actually need less sleep. Your body doesn't need as much physical sleep, and so trust that you have enough energy, that the reason you're sleeping less is because you're charging and getting loads of energy. And so it sounds like some of us are good, some of us are not so good. Dizziness is also part of the process at this time. According to my guides, there's a lot of shifting happening in our DNA, and therefore in our sense of who we are. And so some of the symptoms that my guides have spoken about are dizziness. I know another channel, Tatanka, has spoken a lot about losing your sense of time and not knowing what day or month or losing kind of your sense of Piscean time. Another thing that's really happening to me a lot is lots of like tingling, almost like pins and needles, but more more energetic than pins and needles. And all of that, the dizziness, the pins and needles, the time, it's this massive metamorphosis happening in our DNA as we move from beings with Piscean DNA to beings with Aquarian DNA. And that's a huge shift and process to have to go through. And that's wonderful that some of you are doing really well and enjoying the quiet time. And I think everybody's going on this emotional roller coaster at the moment of sometimes feeling really, really high and sometimes having a big purge physically or emotionally. And like you say, Alatea, it is a very, very profound dream state that we are in. And that is what being in the womb is, or being in the cocoon is, or being in the rebirth process is to be in the dream state. And collectively, that is happening to nearly all of the human collective, even the people that are still working, where society has gone quiet, society has gone into the dream state. And so let's begin with a meditation just to bring you into connection, and then I'm going to share the forecast. I might ask Vicky just to turn the light up a little bit as it's getting darker. Thank you. And so when you're ready, closing your eyes and feeling the muscles around your eyes relaxing as you breathe in love and breathe out gratitude. Breathe in love and breathe out gratitude. Really letting your breath bring you into center. When you lose sense of time and space and self, inside the metamorphosis process, inside the process of great change, where you can always anchor, where you can always find your center, is by focusing upon your breath. If you understand that you are in the dream state, and just as when you are asleep and dreaming, your sense of time, body, shape and form is fluid, but your breath is still breathing, still rhythmical, still between the body and the soul. This is why consciously connecting to your breath at this time, in order to anchor yourself, in order to know yourself and be in your center, is essential. And focusing on your breath as you feel a column of light from the center of the universe coming into your energy, raising your vibration as this light travels down into the heart of Great Mother Gaia and bounces off the heart of Great Mother Gaia, traveling back up through you into the heart of the universe, so that you are held in two-way flow. And in this two-way flow of love and light, experience your breath being breathed not just by you, but by the Great Mother Mother Earth, Mother Gaia, who is also dreaming at this time. And feel her dream breath rising and falling, one with your breath. And as you sense the breath of the mother, feel the rhythmical breath of the universe, the dance of sovereignty and oneness, of going inwards and outwards, that exists in all of creation, as the breath of creation over and over and over again. And feel how your breath belongs to this rhythm. As a pyramid of light is placed over your energy bodies now, helping to illuminate the codes of Lemuria that are held within the tiny oceans of the cells of your body. And as these codes illuminate, they are able to receive the Eden frequencies that Mother Gaia is dreaming. And this receiving of Eden frequencies into the water in your body, into the aliveness within your body, will help to ascend your body through the duration of this online forecast. Helping to make your body lighter and ease the symptoms that you have expressed, emotional and physical symptoms. Notice what you experience of this transmission. Of Eden into the vitality, Lemurian frequencies in the water of life that is inside of you. Notice how you feel. Notice how your body or sense of your body changes. Notice what is happening to your energy body as you open your heart to this webinar, trusting that it is exactly where you are meant to be for your soul's evolution at this moment in time. Opening your heart to those you share this webinar with. now and in the future. And as you feel all of the human heart that are listening to this webinar, opening to you, and experience the sacred embrace of human heart love. The softening medicine of human kindness. And allow yourself to be healed in this flow of medicine. To be comforted so that you can expand beyond your wildest dreams. In this month that you call May is the entrance point to that expansion. So opening your heart to hearing all that you need to know about this forecast, to being fully present with the experience of this frequency transmission. To being in the overflow of human kindness that is happening within the beauty that is happening now. As you breathe in love and breathe out gratitude. Breathe in love and breathe out gratitude. Noticing how you feel. And when you are ready, opening your eyes and coming in to the room. And so, just sharing how you are feeling after the opening meditation for this forecast. My guides are saying that it is a preparation for the Eden heart activation they are going to give you at the end. And actually it's beautiful. For me, the energies that are coming through this webinar are just what I keep calling these energies that are beyond bliss, that are beyond sensations I can even put word to. They're so beautiful and so soft and gentle. And so I would love to hear from any of you about how you are feeling. Great that you're feeling lots of energy calm. While I'm waiting for you to share, I'm just going to give you the overview for May. So, oh, that's great that you had a big release. Crying in this time is really, really good. Any opportunity we have to cry and release is a release of the old Piscean. And it's an emptying out so that we can receive the new. I'm brilliant that you're feeling blissful. And I'm glad you found it lovely. And yeah, the Eden frequencies are so beautiful. I'm going to be talking more about those, Claire. And so May really is the biggest part of the forecast has got to be what's going on astrologically this month. It is epic on a personal level and a collective level. And that's wonderful about the yawning Aletheia. That's a real opening up. Yawning is one of the energies that is about freeing our truth. And so it happens a lot in alchemy healing and stuff like that when there's massive expansion happening on the DNA and energy body. And so yeah, May is astrologically is epic, and it's all about change, really kind of caught in a change, and massive epic level social change. And so it's about change. Interestingly, what so many astrologers are saying, which has got me really excited, is that it's really similar. The sky is really similar astrologically to the 1960s. Like, so many things that you read about May will say, oh, it was like this in the 1960s. It was like this when Woodstock was happening. And so it's really like promising that this summer is going to be the next summer of love. And I feel like May is going to at least bring some shift in the lockdown reality that we are all living. And also there is a sense running through May that is about time to kind of engage the power of your choice, the power of your command. There is this sense in May about coming to a crossroads, but I'll talk more about that. And so to go into, yay, that your birthday is the 31st of May. And nausea is another symptom, Myra, and it's there's a lot of nausea happening in energy practices at the moment because when the DNA is shifting, it makes you feel nauseous. And so, again, it's a good thing. We have to learn to expand through these things like nausea. Oh, wow, Eddie, that's really full cycle then about the summer of love. And so the forecast. So the 1st of May is the festival of Beltane in the pagan calendar, which is one of my favorites because it's really about the sky and the earth making love. It's kind of it's the festival of fire and of tantra and of passion. And that is so important because that festival, you know, my guides have been talking non-stop about this new path cycle that began at the start of this year. That is kind of the second cycle after the 2012 cycle of ascension. And all that they keep saying of it when they describe it at its core is that it's a tantric awakening. And it's a tantric awakening of our senses. So if you imagine the 2012 cycle is all about the third eye and awakening on that level. And this cycle is all about healing our tantric karma, coming into more sensuality, more presence, embodying the spiritual wisdoms that we've been able to channel, coming into the dance of sovereignty and oneness that is Tantra. And this is kind of the first festival of that cycle. And my guides have kind of said that it's almost like it's a portal. It's like May is the entrance into this new tantric way of being that is just going to flow and awaken with us over the next 7 years. It's a very, very powerful time. Any day, any festival that in nature or in the sky that the guides describe as a portal means that it is a very powerful time to let go, to purge, to release, to heal. Particularly, I feel like there's a lot of karma healing. There's a massive human collective tantric wound that's being healed at this time that every single person alive today is carrying in their vibration in some way. Because it's part of our collective contract to heal it. And that is going to be having a big purge around Beltane. And so some of you, that emotion that's coming up, that anger, It's part of that purge. I think Beltane is a very important time to be in ceremony, to be doing healing work, whether that's ceremony with yourself, whether that is going to an online healer or being in an online ceremony, of which there are many. I really think that Beltane feels like one of those ascension days in the calendar this year, and like an entrance point into, like I said, the epic month of May. And so then the first major astrological event of May is on May 5th, and the lunar nodes are changing signs on May 5th. And so the lunar nodes are basically mathematical points in astrology between the sun and the moon. And they are connected to our soul purpose on a collective and an individual level. The north one is about where we are heading and what we need to learn, and the south one is about where we have been and what we are building upon. And since 2018, which when I look back now at my own healing journey, which is and my own path, which is very much a path that works with the kind of collective consciousness, 2018 there definitely was a huge shift in everything that I was working on. There was a lot of there was a change of direction, and I didn't know about the nodes at that time, but we've been in the North Node has been in Cancer, and the South Node has been in Capricorn since 2018. And so a lot of the collective lessons to do with those signs have been about like home and family and career and public work. And obviously that is now climaxing at this time as we're about to move nodes. And then we're going to move from Cancer and Capricorn into Gemini and Sagittarius. And so there's going to be a new set of soul lessons that are set in motion on the 5th of May. And Gemini and Sagittarius are very different from Cancer and Capricorn. And so we move out of that kind of idea of home, protection, public service into lessons that are about self-expression, freedom of speech, stories on all levels, how we share, how we express, how our stories rule us, how we can change our stories. And it's going to be a real journey of people learning what truth is for themselves and how to express their truth and how to accept other people's truth, and in lots of ways a celebration of truth and what freedom is, and that's huge. And those nodes also have that shift in the nodes has a massive impact on everything else that's going on in the month. So not long after the 5th of May, on the 7th of May, is the full moon in Scorpio. It's a super moon. So when the full moon is larger in the sky, it appears as if it's closer to the earth, which means the energies of the moon are really amplified. And actually, for the first time in a long time, certainly the first proper time this year, because a lot of the astrology this year has been very like not doom and gloom, but very like face your shadows, challenging, especially around the moons. And this month the moon is finally sweeter. It's like finally there is sweetness coming from the moon. This moon is really about healing and compassion, and my feeling is because it's happening straight after that shift with the North and South node, it's suddenly the whole journey from 2018 is going to make a bit more sense. And my feeling is the moon is really going to be opening our hearts to going beyond those frustrations and climaxes and identities that we are having to face. And I think compassion is the big word that keeps coming up around that moon. It's like maybe finally we touch a level of compassion that can help us heal that tantric karma, that Piscean karma, and the DNA can really start to metamorphosize into this freedom and into this expression. The sun is opposite the moon though, and so there will be a kind of focus on those old themes of the last node. So a focus on family and home and relationships. But I feel like those tensions that maybe have come up from being in lockdown are going to feel like they're actually beginning to heal. Maybe we come into the state of surrender that is needed. And actually, last month, Starlight was guided to do an inner discovery journey that was all about surrender. And one of the most powerful pieces of wisdom that came through it was the guides were talking about surrender is the opening ceremony for letting go. And so we have to move from this state of separation into a state of surrender in order to let go. And that's what I feel when I tune in energetically. There's just going to be these waves of compassion that allow surrender and letting go to happen. Allow the grieving of the Piscean age to happen more fully on a collective level. At the same time, the full moon's in Scorpio, and Scorpio is always transformational. So how I see it is it's like the compassion is the medicine that leads to surrender, that leads to metamorphosis, because it's in Scorpio, that leads to this DNA shift that has been mentioned. And it's a really powerful day to connect energetically to the sky, to the moon, to really call in those stubborn wounds that you feel like you can never fully heal and never fully let go of, and allow them to be washed with these energies of compassion and surrender. I'm sorry you're having some problems, Marie and Myra. If everybody else is okay, please do let me know. I don't know if the technology is your end or my end. And then, almost again a couple of days later, on the 10th, Saturn goes into retrograde. And Saturn goes into retrograde every year. This year, the retrograde, because of that node change, it's affecting the retrogrades that are happening. I'm glad it's okay there. I'm glad most of you are okay, internet-wise. And so it's quite complicated astrologically, but because of the node change, it's causing the retrograding planets to do zigzags and move below the ecliptic lines and be closer to the sun. And I mean, there's loads of detail about it, and I'm not actually an astrologer by trade. I just include astrology when it feels important energetically. And so it means that all of the retrogrades in May are really rare. They're more unusual than they are. They have more force and they have more impact. And whenever a planet's in retrograde, what it means on a physical level is that it appears as if the planet is moving backwards in the sky. And what it means for us, so for me, the planets, they control our emotional currents, a bit like the way the moon controls the ocean currents. And so they control the currents of our healing journey throughout the year. And when the planets go into retrograde, that's the time that we're really going to go inwards and do the shadow work, and the themes of that planet represents, the currents that planet represents within us, really can get sorted out by going inwards when that planet is in retrograde. And so Saturn's in retrograde for almost half the year. It's a long retrograde. And Saturn is really, if you guys have watched Magic Month this year, you will know that like the guides are non-stop talking about Saturn. The astrologers are non-stop talking about Saturn. Saturn is one of the key players of our ascension process at the moment. Partly because Saturn is the king of karma, and like I said, my guides are non-stop talking about this tantric karma wound that humans need to heal in order to ascend. And karma is not what you think it is. Karma, according to my guides, is not cause and effect. It is literally when you do something very far out of alignment that you need to be spun back into alignment. And so Saturn is the planet that spins you back into alignment with all that you are meant to be. And when you, but it's also the pattern of rules and boundaries and limits and law and order. And with this retrograde where Saturn is zigzagging, that sense of boundaries and law and order and who we are is really going to be challenged on a global level this summer. It's almost like it's going to go into chaos a little bit, and on an inner level within ourselves. But you know, chaos is where real change happens, and that chaos, that sense of not knowing your identity, not knowing the boundaries of yourself, it's also you connecting to your potential, to the self that isn't bound. And so there's an incredible amount of healing that can happen with from the rareness of this Saturn retrograde. Normally Saturn retrograde brings up the restrictions within you, and this time it's going to bring up essentially the mystery within you. And the great mystery is where the magic happens. The great mystery is where ascension happens. And like I said, very important healing with all things karma in our DNA, with all things out of alignment are happening this summer. And then on the 12th, 13th, depending on where you are in the world, Venus goes into retrograde. And again, with both Saturn and Venus, their patterns, what's going on in the sky this summer is similar to the 1960s. So the social and political change, the summer of love, the all of the change that happened inside and outside, the sky is realigned for it in a very similar way. Venus retrograde doesn't happen every year. Venus is obviously the planet of love and beauty and poetry and art. And when she goes into retrograde, all of the ways that you love are challenged, whether it's the way you love yourself, whether it's problems in a relationship suddenly rise up, whether it is how you're over giving love, all of those kind of things get brought up to be worked on. Now, what's interesting about this Venus retrograde, as well as the zigzag that is also going to be happening in Venus, she's going to be making a Z and coming close to the sun, which is really important as well, because the sun is about our power and our dreams. And so actually, I don't think this retrograde is going to be as focused on relationships and self-love as it normally is. Venus is square with Neptune. She's crossing the sun. And Neptune's all about dreams and expansion and ascension. And again, that blurry, non-defined way of being, of existing. And so my feeling is Venus is really going to help. Venus in retrograde is really going to help us understand how we love our paths, how we love our dreams, how we love our purpose. one of the other things that some of you that have watched Magic Month before will know about is my guides keep talking about the fact we're moving from living with purpose to living with passion, which is when purpose and pleasure happen at the same time, so that we don't just do things for money, for survival, for success, or even for love. It's like that purpose energy needs to be alive with the pleasure of doing it for the sake of doing it. And all of that is what Venus retrograde is going to invite us into and help us into. She's going to be helping us connect to the dream of Gaia and ascend with Gaia. And again, it's boundaryless. It's like, once again, this retrograde that is normally more structured, it's zigzagging and it's boundaryless, and it's connected to all of this dream and potential and expansion energy. And then on the 14th, Jupiter goes into retrograde, and Jupiter is the planet of your path. It is the planet of abundance and expansion. And so, you know, almost back to back, we're going Saturn retrograde, Venus retrograde, Jupiter retrograde. And Jupiter in retrograde, so what that looks like astrologically is a lot of astrologers are saying it's similar to the big crash that we had, I think, in 2008. And Jupiter's going to really be bringing up blocks around abundance. Again, the misuse of that purpose energy, the purpose without passion, and how that's manifested in our choices and our lives, and our misalignment with Saturn's retrograde, and the closing of our hearts in Venus retrograde. And it's really going to be faced on a collective and personal level. And abundance blocks, they can be really challenging. I know that it can be really scary because we associate our abundance with our safety. But actually, one of the most important messages my guides ever gave is that, you know, the human collective consciousness has been sold a lie that money is going to keep you safe. Money is a growth energy. By its very nature, it cannot keep you safe. It can only help you grow. And when you grow, you have to be unsafe, because you have to be outside of your comfort zone. And so what can keep you safe? The only thing that can keep you safe, what we've tried to replace money with, is community. And what I really feel when I tune into this, you know, Saturn, Venus, Jupiter, really close retrogrades to each other, the fact they're all zigzaggy, the fact they're all blurry, means that their themes are going to overlap. And we are going to start to find our safety and security in community. And heal those poverty conscious blocks that don't no longer serve us. Understand that everything that is in retrograde and that comes up through a retrograde is coming up to come out. It's coming up to purge out. It's not coming up to stay. It's coming up to be released. And I feel like we're going to see a massive release on the social economical systems of the world that we know have been so bad for the planet, and we can be part of that release. And it actually doesn't mean that you don't have to be you don't have to be inside those abundance blocks and struggling. If you work with the release of blocks, then the more space you create, the more you're able to receive, and the more you release your blocks, the more Aquarian you become. And the more Aquarian you become, the more overflowing everything is, because essentially the more crystalline you've become, the more ascended you've become, the more liberated and self-generating you have become. And so essentially all those blocks are the chains of the old system unshackling from you. But I think we're going to see in Gemini, and a lot of the themes around that new moon are about rebuilding, and it does feel like astrologically by that time we might at least be moving out of this first stage of lockdown ascension and into something a bit more long term, something that's way is what the astrologers are saying. Hopefully with all of these lessons from the tantric themes of May, coming from nature, the massive blurring retrograde themes, and then and so the new moon is definitely a good time to be in ceremony, to be doing healing, and to be maybe starting to put those dreams that you should be using this time for, those visions, into practice. It feels like there's a bit more action, more post the 22nd, whether that's that we've come into surrender and just decided to start crafting our new paths from home, or whether it's that we so I haven't frozen, guys, so I don't know if all of you are having problems with technology or just some of you, but I'm going to keep going. Or whether it's that we actually that there's a new shift on the global level, we'll find out. And then the end of the month is really the energies start preparing for the next eclipse window, which is, you know, those of you that have watched Magic Month will know that I am so massive on eclipse windows and how powerful they are for healing. And this eclipse window is the first eclipse window of the new cycle. It's happening on the summer solstice. It's going to be huge. And so I think we'll be starting to prepare energetically for that new phase, that eclipse window upgrade that always happens in every eclipse window. And interesting that some of you are having connection problems. My guides always say that when there's internet problems or disconnect problems, that's one of the things that's being healed, is our disconnect. So see if you can expand out of your disconnect, even though it might be happening on a collective level. See if you can release disconnect, which is one of our tantric karmic wounds that we need to release at this time, so we can be more connected. I do think that in May it's going to feel very energetically like being in a colorful swamp, like a really colorful, really beautiful, really swirly swamp of energies of, you know, when a caterpillar's in a cocoon, it melts. And I think in May we're going to have that experience of the melting. And so being able to connect even in times of melting. The dogs agree with me, is going to be how you keep your center. My guides are going to give some really important advice for how you can keep your vibration good, how you can harmonize, what you should be doing in terms of this healing. They're going to give this advice. But does anybody have any questions about everything I've just said? I know some of you missed some things. Do you have any questions about the forecast that I've just given you? And while you're asking those questions, there is some things I want to tell you about. So if you are called to be with Starlight for the Beltane celebration, then we are doing an online fire ceremony. They've been really magical and powerful, and there's lots of light chamber. There's going to be lots of tantric activation, light chamber stuff, and so you can click the donate to book on button, and it will just open in another tab. Sorry, Vicky, can you turn the light up just a tiny bit more? As it's getting darker outside, the screen's getting dark. And so that is by donation. And okay, Jenny, I will talk about the new moon in May. Thank you so much. So the new moon in May is the 22nd of May, and when we get to that new moon, one of the things that my guides kind of said really clearly about it is they were like, if you imagine that new moon, it's like the beginning of the fork in the crossroads. It's like either you ascend or you don't, and ascension means having to let go of everything you know. You know, the caterpillar doesn't get to be the caterpillar and the butterfly. And so my feeling is we're going to see that collectively. We're going to feel that personally. We're going to have that kind of Gemini energy going. Which one? Which way are you going to go? What are you going to choose? Are you going to choose the new frequencies or the old ones? The new Akashic or the old one? Interestingly, one of the things that so I'm running a course that is working with the elements. And the elements that we've been in all month is the element of air. And one of the things that's been so amazing about the teachings of the element of air is it teaches you to change by your choice. Like how the other elements change things is through, you know, fire burns and transmutes things. The earth is alchemical. But how the air changes things is it just changes direction. It just makes a new choice. It's instant change. And it's changed through command of choice. And that's what I feel around that new moon is. It's like many of us are just going to go, you know what? I'm ready now. I'm just making a new choice. And I don't know where it's going to take me, but I'm making that new choice because the old world is melting. And so it's about really towards the end of a month, really engaging in your new choice, making sure you are walking the fork in that collective crossroads that you want to walk and really owning that choice in your thoughts, words, and actions. And so the other thing I wanted to tell you about is Starlight has been guided to. So one of the things that happened in the last eclipse window actually is I got this really amazing message through about how the human collective consciousness has been obsessed with the themes of summer, like abundance and visibility and fun and celebration, and that really what we need at this time is to understand all of the wealth and riches of winter within ourselves. And we've been so obsessed with the themes of summer, we have actually lost those winter themes. And what lockdown is doing is forcing us to face the themes of winter, such as resourcefulness and stillness and resilience and immunity, and reclaim them within ourselves. And my guides guided me when lockdown happened to start running these like inner discovery journeys online that are about exploring the themes of winter, but as frequency, as ceremony, as medicine, as power within yourself. And the first one was surrender, and it was so amazing. Like I learned so much about surrender, and it really helped. I think it's made my lockdown so much better. I've been so much more surrendered to it. And the next one that's been called for the 5th, and then the full moon and this time just to prepare for the retrograde of the planets is purification. And like when I tune into it, the energy is just like, ooh, it's just so like fresh and refreshing. And I know if it's purification, it's going to be such a powerful way to prepare for all of those crazy retrograde dream times. And so if you want to come on that, it's by donation, but you donate afterwards. So all you do if you want to come for now is book on, and then afterwards, whatever feels right in your heart, you can do. And it was, thank you guys for saying that, because it was just incredible. And yeah, yes, I will get back. I will end with some meditation practices and suggestions for what you can do at this time. And then, so that's on the 5th. And I'm really, really excited about that. It's only 4 days long. And then I don't know why the other one didn't save. But for those of you that are feeling a little bit worried about the Jupiter abundance, crazy dreamingness, just today I was guided to run some. So last year there were these courses channeled called Becoming. They were an overflow series. So there were 3 of them channeled for each of the eclipse windows last year. One of them was Becoming Overflow. One of them was Ascending into Overflow. And one of them was Overflowing with Love. These courses are courses that are essentially alchemical journeys that let you go into that take you through an alchemical process that make you less carbon in your chakras and DNA and more crystalline. And when you are more crystalline, just like a diamond, you're able to receive and radiate more light. These courses, the first one brought me into a state that was like the highest vibrational state I've ever felt. And it happened to lots of other people. Like someone was like, this is the best I've ever felt as a human being, because you just become crystalline in the little week that it's on. And they're all about overflow. They're all about coming into overflow. Like we need to move out of our lack consciousness, out of our separation consciousness, and into overflow, which is true ascended abundance, when you have more than enough and you're just in that overflow of more than enough. And the guides have guided that they need to be put on again this summer in June, July and August, in the run up to the ascension of the Lion's Gateway. They can be done in you can just do one, or you can do the whole trilogy, the crystalline, Becoming Crystalline trilogy. And this trilogy, like when I was tuning into it today, I actually nearly started crying, because I was like, actually, now that I look back, it was really hard because it was loads of shadow work and it was very purgy and very intense. But my whole reality has changed, and I am so in overflow, even though we're in lockdown. Like I'm totally in love. I'm in the most amazing place in my life in every sense of the word. Even in lockdown, it feels like things are just flowing for me, and I'm so sure it's because of these courses. And so if you are called to do some shadow work, and the retrograde time is the time to do shadow work, and especially eclipse window time, then these courses are they're really beautiful, and they're really powerful, and they really shift your reality in ways that you can't even imagine. And so the trilogy is available, or you can just book the one that calls you, if that's better. And so I'm going to put up the link. It's not coming up on Webinar Jam, unfortunately, but I will get it from the website. And so here's the link to the Overflow trilogy. And that's where you can find out about it and find out about that journey. And sorry, Ruth, which one are you asking about in terms of time? So that's Starlight's online offerings for you. We're also doing lots of free stuff as well. Online vlogs and things like that. So you can join the Starlight Temple Facebook group if you want all of that. Purification is going to be 10 a.m. till noon for 4 days in a row from the 5th until the 8th. And the card I've pulled for the card of the month is Sacred Journey, which is so dreamlike. It's all about being in the dream. It's such an exciting, powerful time to manifest. And so what the card says, there is wisdom in knowing that even the darkness serves its purpose in the growth of the soul. Darkness need not be feared, but simply understood. Darkness is misunderstood energy, which causes so much emotional distress and disharmony around the world, as it is seen as something that is separate to God. More often, it is seen as something that is needed to be avoided or battled. Darkness too serves its purpose. Through the darkness, we come to see the light that is in us. We expand our consciousness, our understanding through first walking the shadows of our soul. This, everything is born in the dark. We are being reborn in the unknown, in the mystery, in the cocooning, in the dark, because everything is born in a womb or an egg. And we're just in that time. And that's why we have to work with the shadow. That's why we have to work with the mystery. That's why we have to work with the themes of winter at this time. And so, and actually it's a sacred rebirth journey. And so we're going to do the Eden Heart activation to end this webinar, but the first thing that I want to do is share a couple of things that have come through channelings I've done this month about how to make the most of this time of ascension. One of the most important ones that some of you will have heard already, and it's so simple, but it's so important, and people are having really magical experiences from it, is humming in order to harmonize. And so basically what the guides have said is Gaia, Mother Earth, is asleep and she's dreaming. And she's dreaming the golden age. And it's really beautiful how they described it. They said she's dreaming the vibrational score for the next age, the next stage of evolution. And that vibrational score is rising up upon her breath when she breathes out. And when she breathes in, it comes down in the form of frequency, which is basically the seed of vibration. And these frequencies are called the Eden frequencies. They hold the potential of the next golden age. And when you hum, you are able to harmonize into these Eden frequencies. What the guides say you have to do is literally hum for 20 minutes. Don't worry about how you sound. Don't worry about your breath. You're allowed to breathe, but just set an alarm and hum for 20 minutes. And I had such an amazing experience the first time I hummed that I was like, everybody needs to know about this. And so I've been contacting people about it, and so many people have got back to me and just been like, the humming is amazing. And it really is. You know, your first 5 minutes, you're just really conscious that you're humming, and then boom, you're in no time, no space. You're having all of this like multi-dimensional dream energy flowing through you. You come out of it and your vibration is so high and you're feeling so connected, and like it's the such a good way out of those big heavy emotions. And literally while you're humming, what you're doing is you're blending the old um the old Piscean frequencies with the new Eden Aquarian frequencies inside of you. And so it speeds up the ascension process. And my guide said the more people that can hum at this time, because it's helping the mother, it's actually light work, the more this humming is done, the quicker this process of lockdown will be, the quicker this dream ascension process will be. You actually humming the frequencies in. I have some new guidance. Thank you. I'm glad some of you are loving the humming. Had some new guidance about it this morning, which is that if you hum in the bath or in the shower, essentially what gets activated are the Lemurian. What gets activated are the ancient Lemurian frequencies in the water, which are basically the frequencies of aliveness. And when I tried it in the bath, and it's totally amazing, and it's even more trippy. And basically what you're then doing is bringing the Eden frequencies into your vital energy, into your vitality energy. So it helps with your immune system, it helps with your health, it helps with the tantric awakening. I know it sounds really simple, but just try it. Just hum for 20 minutes and see what happens. You're going to have such an amazing vibrational lift, and you're meant to do it at least once a week. So the humming, in order to harmonize into these frequencies, is a really essential part of our ascension. The other thing that you can do as you go about your day is ask for more. So every time you feel good, open up and ask for more. So I want to feel more than this good. I want to feel more. If you're feeling peaceful, I want to feel more peace. If you're feeling love, I want to feel more love. And what that's doing is it's teaching you, your energy body, to open up and receive these frequencies that are beyond the limitations of your own potential. It's helping your energy body to just naturally start opening up. It's bringing you into the energy of belovedness, which is one of the tantric laws of overflow that we're meant to be aligning with whilst in the cocoon. And it's helping you to manifest in a way that is in that dreamlike, blurry way, because if you imagine, the caterpillar can't know the needs of the butterfly, so it doesn't really know what is meant to be manifesting. So all we can be manifesting really at the moment is what we want more of. And it opens you up to beginning to dream that path and the inspiration for that new ascended path to begin to flow. It's a really, really good practice, and a really high vibrational practice. And the last thing that I will say is, in terms of living in this dream energy and this boundaryless energy that May is going to hold, this blurriness, come back to your breath, and also come back to your heart. It's like we are only going to navigate the dream time with our hearts. And so the more we can be opening our hearts to the present, the more we can be opening our hearts and our senses to really enjoying and being in pleasure in the present, the more we're activating the passion, activating out of purpose and into passion. And the more we're firing up ourselves, and as we fire up ourselves, we're able to ascend. It's like you need that fire energy for liftoff. And so really connecting to the passion of the moment is really important. And while in May all of this dream energy is floating about, just visualizing what you want, but in a dreamlike way. So when you visualize, don't attach, don't hold on. If it's probably best to do the humming first, because then you'll be in that dreamlike state, but then just open up to what happiness could look like, to what freedom could look like, to what this summer of love could look like, and then ask for more. Ask for a better version than you can imagine, because we're meant to be transcending our own potential, and going from our Piscean potential to our Aquarian potential. And so those are my pieces of advice for you for May. The guides want to do an Eden Light of the Heart activation. They are saying that most importantly this month is to remember the power of change, the power that you have to change, the power of your choice. You can say, I don't choose this anymore, when those frustrated feelings are coming up. They're actually showing me that, you know, the human collective consciousness, one of the things that it's purging at the moment is being enslaved, being imprisoned. And, you know, if we're facing those feelings slightly or a lot, we are meant to, that's part of the tantric karma that's releasing, we are meant to be expanding them and saying, I release these, I clear, cancel, and delete these, and I'm choosing something new, I'm choosing more freedom. And so really engaging the power of the command of your choice inside the dream is how to transcend at this time. Before we go into the Eden Heartlight activation, there is one more thing I want to tell you about. My friend, a very, very good friend of mine, was working in China, and she came back from China because of everything that was going on, lockdown and everything like that. But whilst in China, she adopted a cat, and before all of the epidemic happened, she'd paid for the cat to have the rabies, and she was bringing the cat back over to the UK, and she's still determined to bring this cat back. And this poor cat is has got really attached to her, and every time she's left China has got really sick, and so she's trying to do a fundraising campaign to help the cat get back. And the whole story just really touched me, because you know, she can't furlough, she's been working in China, she's spending all of her money on this cat's vet bills, and so I asked her to send me the GoFundMe, and if this webinar was helpful to you, then please do donate to Noodle the cat and getting her back to the UK, because those kind of things that are hard in non-lockdown are even harder now. And you know, sometimes a story just touches us, and we need to do what we can to try and help. And it made me think that actually there's probably a lot of animals and stuff in, whilst it's been really good for nature, I imagine some of the crisis animals are really in a difficult situation at the moment. And so if this webinar helped you and it feels right in your heart, please will you donate to Noodle's vet bills and hopefully getting her over here. I will put up the I will send you an email tomorrow with the links to the courses and the by donation and free stuff that we're running, so that you have all of that. When you are ready, let's do this Eden Heart Light activation. So when you are ready, closing your eyes and allowing all of the information that you needed to receive from this webinar to spiral through you and arrive where it is meant to be inside of you. As you reconnect to this pyramid of light that is assisting the Lemurian aliveness frequencies and codes to harmonize with the Eden frequencies and codes. Noticing what has changed within you since this transmission began. As a diamond of light is placed around your heart chakra now, feeling your heart filling with light, filling with the Lemurian light of aliveness code. And as this happens, experience your sense of aliveness rushing, your love for being alive, engaging. Your life force energy activating. And as this diamond light begins to spin, feel the new Eden dream frequencies spinning into your heart center, into the love for life. We love for the mystery of life inside of your heart. As these Eden frequencies are spun into the heart, feel the white pyramid that surrounds you becoming filled with emerald ascension codes now. And here the priest, priestess, and priestie of the Lemuri Aquarii timeline singing these ascension notes to you now as you experience for the first time your heart opening to this dream of Gaia's new world, and some of you will be experiencing a grief release happening across the DNA body that is connected connected to the heart, and some of you will be experiencing popping in your ears as through this transmission your DNA becomes more crystalline, so that the light passion of your soul can flow and embody and radiate through you as you feel the Eden frequencies harmonizing in your heart. Now experience your heart in its Aquarian rhythms, now in its Aquarian motion, now noticing how your heart is beginning to overflow, now feeling the torus field of the heart activating as your heart fills with the light sounds of the Eden frequencies of Aquaria that Gaia is dreaming. Be in the joyful experience of this sensational activation into Eden, into an overflow of love, into an overflow of light, feeling your heart filling with new sensations of light, experiencing the field of your heart expanding, feeling your heart awakening to the new dream of Gaia that is rising and falling through you, feeling your aliveness becoming a query, and now feeling your life force becoming more Aquarian, now allowing yourself to be in this experience of light, joy, flow happening, feeling your heart breathing in time to the rise and fall of Gaia's Eden frequencies, coming into harmony with the rise and fall, the field of the heart in harmonization with this new dream of the great mother that you are here to witness, first as frequency, then as sensation, then as vibrational rhythm, then as experienced love, then as information, then as manifestation, then as creation, feeling this alignment of the heart with the new frequencies of Eden, now. And surrendering into how you feel. Surrendering into the lightness and potential and freedom flows within this new heart vibration as the diamond light around your heart lifts and dissolves in the pyramid of light around you lifts and dissolves. And you feel the violet and emerald flames coming through you, transmuting all energy that does not serve or belong into love and light. And a golden rain shower of light coming down, taking any energy that is meant to go to Mother Gaia as an offering to the Great Mother. And a big beam of source light comes in, taking any energy that's meant to go somewhere else, wherever it is in the highest good for it to go, as an offering to the stars, as you send your love and gratitude to the priest, priestess, and priestie of the Lemuria Aquaria lineage, to each and every single humankind being that you have sat in circle with, to the Great Mother Gaia, to the planet, to all of the animals, plants, and people and minerals, to all of the stars, to all of love, to all of light, to all of spirit, and to all of great mystery, and to all of yourself, all that is Piscean and all that is Aquarian in this moment. Breathing in love and breathing out gratitude. Breathing in love and breathing out gratitude. And when you are ready, opening your eyes and coming in to the room. So thank you all so much for bringing your energy and wisdom and truth and words to this webinar. If this webinar was helpful to you, please do pass it on and share it with other people. Please do, if it is in your heart, make a donation to Noodle, whatever. Every penny counts. I hope some of you are called to join us for either the fire ceremony for Beltane or the inner discovery journey of purification, or the incredible shadow ascension that is the Overflow Trilogy. I love you all very, very much. You are an amazing, incredible tribe, and I will see you soon, hopefully in person. So much love to you all.